One of the more challenging tasks I set out to complete when my personal finance journey began was getting a real handle on my expenses. Surprisingly, I found that my fixed expenses, my home, car, other needs, areas I was warned were troublesome for most, actually weren't too bad. I had a roommate, my car was relatively affordable, and I lived in an apartment complex that was built in the 1990s and looked like it. In many important ways, I lived comfortably beneath my means. But there was one notable outlier. My hot girl category was staggering. Based on an early inventory, I calculated that I was spending $200 every 3 months for my cut and color, $100 per month on eyelash extensions, $15 per month on eyebrow threading, $100 per month on manicures and pedicures, and $500 per year on makeup. The first time I examined these expenses in their totality, I thought my calculator had added an extraneous zero. After confirming it was, in fact, a totally warranted zero, I knew I couldn't justify this superficial hemorrhaging any longer. So, in 2019, I decided it was time to hop off the hot girl hamster wheel, at least temporarily. The hot girl hamster wheel is a term I coined that describes the litany of rotating, recurring expenses necessary to make one conventionally attractive. When you're on the hamster wheel, every dollar spent functions like a commitment to spend more in the future. Your body will eventually reject the modifications, often leaving you aesthetically worse than you started. Think chipping gel polish and brittle nails underneath, or brassy, grown-out highlights that must be corrected. As a former hot girl, I'm all too familiar with the financial trials and tribulations of attempting to maintain some semblance of an acceptable feminine appearance, and the most common iteration went a little something like this. Number 1. Feel bad about self for some generalized reason, then notice, in rapid, horrifying succession, that my roots were growing out, my ends were split, my gel nails were peeling, my legs were pale and hairy, and oh yeah, I was stressed. Number 2. Panic schedule a full day of back-to-back primp appointments. Number 3. Attend said appointments in order: facial, eyebrow threading, cut and color, manicure pedicure, spray tan, and chill. Number 4. Feel increasingly uncomfortable calculating the accumulating 20% tips at each and every vendor and swipe the Amex with less and less enthusiasm. And number 5. Bask in glory of retaining hot girl status for another 2 to 3 weeks, and then quickly realize that not only do I feel no different, but it's already almost time to re-up. I'm hyperbolizing, of course, but the general framework followed a predictable pattern. Perhaps the most unnerving part of this NASCAR pit stop style tour of Dallas's beauty providers was the way in which these habits eventually became my baseline state. When I sensed I was deviating too far away from it, a crisis of confidence ensued and the cycle would repeat anew. When I annualized my spending and broke it down to monthly averages, I realized I was spending about $320 per month. That's $3,840 per year on being pretty. Depending on how much you earn, this number could be reasonable, but at the time I was taking home about $1,500 every 2 weeks. Which meant I worked for more than an entire month each year solely to maintain my acceptable feminine appearance.